Hi, I'm Sam Cooper, I'm one of the critical care paramedics, and welcome to the base tour of the Derbyshire Leicester Rutland Air Ambulance Airbase. So this is our helicopter. This is the Augusta 109. This is our main helicopter that we use all the time. They're, for us, the best aircraft that are out there. Civilian wise, it's the fastest aircraft you can operate still. Some of its big benefits are the fact that it's got retractable gears, and by doing that, it means we're a lot more aerodynamic. So our speed, we can get to speeds up to 200 miles an hour with a bit of wind behind us, but otherwise we kind of fly around normally at around 140, 145 knots. We can be up and in the air within 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes of the engine starting, and likewise for shutting down, which is again something that's really important. So we can land on scene and we can shut the aircraft down quickly and safely so that we can get out and get to our patients quicker. It's a two-seater aircraft up at the front. This side here is where the pilot sits. We operate a paramedic in the front seat as well. We have to do extra training as critical care paramedics. For the HEMS role, we do a technical crew member course, which means that we have to go and do some extra aviation training, a bit like a normal ground school for a private pilot's license. It's just we don't get to do the fun bit of flying as well. This is the doctor's seat. So this is where they sit and they face backwards for us, and part of that, the reason for that is that when we need to have a look at the back of the aircraft, the tail, it's a bit difficult for the pilot to see, so that's a role that the doctor will play there for us. And likewise, if we have a fourth crew member, being another paramedic or a doctor that's in training with us, they'll sit on this seat here. In the back here, you can just see that this is where we keep our equipment. So this bag here it's got blood in it. So we carry blood so that we can obviously do transfusions by the roadside if we need to, for patients that desperately need pre-hospital blood and plasma. We have two big backpacks that weigh about 16 kilograms each, and that carries all of the life-saving stuff that we need. So everything from an oxygen cylinder and a face mask to surgical equipment to be able to do open heart surgery. They all live in those two bags there. We've got a lot of different equipment that we need to operate and to be able to deliver the best care we can for our patients. So when we do transport a patient, obviously these bags come off of the trolley because they lay on this stretcher here. We load them in from this side of the aircraft, and these bags, if we don't need them with us, can go in the boot of the aircraft, which is a really handy bit of this this aircraft's design. Is this boot goes all the way up to the back of the tail boom, so we've got a lot of space to store all our other equipment that we don't need in there with us. So this is one of our rapid response vehicles. We use the RRVs when we can't fly for whatever reason. So usually the only reason that we can't fly is due to weather. So on horribly foggy days, for instance, it's not safe for us to fly. So we operate in the car, and then overnight as well, because we don't fly at night time. We've got some really good road networks near us. There's no need to fly. You can then hop on the cars. The roads are a lot quieter, and these cars specifically the VRS versions, and they're very, very quick. We all have to do special driver courses to be able to safely operate the cars, and we can get a pretty good distance at night time, certainly in these. Inside of the car, we set it up so that we have the paramedic will do the driving, the doctor will be sat in the passenger seat, and then if we have a third crew person, be it another doctor or another training paramedic, then they sit in the back as well. We try and keep all the kit in the boot, and this is quite tightly packed in, but at the moment it works particularly well for us. We carry all the same stuff than we do on the aircraft. So with the exception of a stretcher to carry patients, we still have everything that we do on the helicopter. So we're delivering exactly the same level of care to our patients on the car as we are on the aircraft. So this is our operations room. This is where you'll find us most of the time. If we're not on a mission, we'll be sat in here. This is where we have the phone call come in to. So if there's a 999 call or they're requesting us, it comes through to this phone here. We're then able to take the details of that call and a couple of things will happen. The pilot will go usually straight out to the aircraft, and they'll start preparing the aircraft so that we can get up into the air as quick as possible. As a clinical crew, what we'll do is we'll listen to the phone call or from the operator of the ambulance service to tell us where we're going and what type of call we're going to, and we'll take a 6-figure grid reference, and with that 6-figure grid reference we'll be able to roughly plot it on this big map here. So if, for instance, they were able to give us an incident up in Buxton, we move this little marker with our string to point us up to Buxton, and that does a couple of things for us. First of all, it gives us a rough time and distance that we're going to need to get there. So it will take about 17 minutes and it's about 40 miles. But that bit of string then obviously corresponds to different distances. And it gives us a rough heading as well. So here we are based, and we've got a compass rose there so that we can say to the pilot when we get in, we're going to be heading at about 310 degrees and we're going to be going for about 40 miles. That gives John a really quick, brief overview as the pilot as to where he's going to be heading. The other thing that we get from this board is you see all these little markers here. These are NOTAMs. So every morning when we do an aviation brief, we'll discuss as to these are certain things that have been highlighted to the Civil Aviation Authority that we need to be aware of. So for instance, in Ashbourne, at Lady Bower and in Sheffield today, there'll be Met balloons. So the Met Office have released a balloon that we just need to be aware of when we're flying around. It may be drones, it may be specific military operations or training that's going on in the area. So we just have an overview when we plot this line to the job as to what we need to consider on the way to the incident, as well as the clinical aspect of things when we get there. So this is our storeroom. This is where we keep most of our clinical equipment that we're going to replenish after an incident. As you can see, it's all listed, labelled, everything's all got expiry dates on it and is relatively easy for us to find. And that means that when we get back from an incident, then we're able to rekit relatively quickly. There are certain items that take a little bit longer to rekit, so some of that we will already have pre-made up. So these are our airway rolls, for instance. It carries all of our special equipment for managing people's airways, and we have them tagged on the shelf so that we can just quickly grab that if we need to. And then later on we can replenish and rekit all of the equipment we use when we've got a bit of downtime, or the following crew will come and do that for us. Some of the equipment that we use is incredibly expensive, and as volunteers that are helping raise money for us and an awareness, this is one of sort of the big important things that you guys are helping towards. And things like this is one of our latest monitors. They're absolutely excellent. They do everything we want and a bit more, but they cost around £12,000 a piece. This, for instance, as another sort of example, this is a special video laryngoscope. So we use these to be able to intubate patients, but we've gone over to a video model because they're a lot safer for patients that we can see from a little camera on the end there. But these are again about £2,500 each. We reuse those, and we have disposable bits that we can put onto those, but as an expensive sort of one-off item, they certainly are. And then things like this is a trauma blast bandage, and these cost around £20 a piece. We unfortunately have to go through quite a lot of equipment, and yeah, it all costs a lot of money. This is our training room. So in here we've got lots of different equipment, and obviously we utilise this area for whilst we're on shift or specific training days that we have to really hone our skills, and certainly things that perhaps we don't do very often. We have to make sure that we are familiar and happy with all the equipment and the procedures that we do. So we've got a couple of examples here. This is a special airway head, so we can practice specific intubations, but this one is different because we can change the settings on this mannequin to mimic some real problems that we can have when managing an airway. And we can also do surgical airways on this mannequin as well. They're really good bits of kit. This, for instance, is a subclavian live, so a special access so we can put a big line into people. This one here, for instance, will sit under the clavicle and going into the subclavian vein, which is really important for us to be able to get massive blood transfusions, but that's quite a difficult technique to do, so we have to to practice with those. We've got special monitors that we can mimic that are cheaper than a proper monitor, so we can mimic all sorts of conditions and patient conditions certainly on those monitors to make it as lifelike as possible. And then we've got a couple of recent additions. This one specifically is Stan. Stan is a special surgical mannequin. We were donated by an individual for an incredible amount of money. They're about £60,000, I believe. But this specific mannequin allows us to carry out heart surgery. So we can practice cutting the skin open, we can practice cutting the chest open and being able to get into the heart and lungs. When unfortunately we do have to carry out that procedure, it's not as unfamiliar to us as certainly we've had the opportunity to train on people like Stan, who then we can remake, get special equipment and kits so that we can remake a skin cover for him so that we can reuse and learn time and time again. Just want to say thank you ever so much to all the volunteers that help support Taz and allow us to do the amazing job that we're able to do. It's an absolute privilege and we wouldn't be able to do it without you. In 2024, there was over 230,000 hours given by volunteers, which works out at about £14.43 an hour, over £3.3 million worth of work. So we're incredibly grateful for everything that you do. The things that I would like you to take away from today's base tour, unfortunately we are a necessary requirement for a lot of patients to be able to survive, but we all do play our part, and without you we wouldn't be able to. So thank you ever so much. We definitely know that we wouldn't be able to do what we do without you guys, so thank you.